My peoples, it's Thirsty Thursday. We're gonna kick today's show off with this Throwback Thursday fight right here. Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson. This show kicks off in 2 minutes. Get ready for this smoke, y'all. My peoples. My peoples. Bam! Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Y'all know what we doing, man. We talking boxing. I'm Jay Smith, and as always, I want to kick this show off by saying it's a beautiful day, my peoples. We awake. We breathing. God gave us another one. Woo. Thank you, God. Appreciate it, big bro. I'm telling you, my peoples, it don't matter if it's hot where you are, if it's cold, whatever the circumstances, whatever the weather, it's a beautiful day. We got another one, baby. Yes, sir. Let me give a shout out, man, to everybody already tuning in. Toy Mafia, the first one in the building, always showing love. Side 310, man, Ruth, John Parham in the building in full effect. The assassin is in the house. Clifton Dennis, what's the deal, family? Fellas, we're going to kick this show off. You know, it is Thursday, so we're doing the whole TBT thing, the whole Thirsty Thursday jump off. We're going to start off with Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas. The lunatic librarian is in the building. Salute, family. We're going to kick this thing off with Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas. The biggest upset in the history of boxing, and arguably the biggest upset in sports history. There are some huge upsets, right? But this right here is always going to be in the conversation for biggest upset. Right here. And I'm going to tell you why. The expectations were that Mike Tyson was going to brutalize Buster Douglas. That's what everybody thought. That's what I thought. It was supposed to be pretty much guaranteed. But Buster Douglas showed up to that fight with different plans. Now, the first thing that I want to tell you guys is that Buster Douglas as a fighter is super, super, super underrated. Super underrated. Why I say this? Because the notion was that Buster Douglas is a bum or was a bum, that Buster Douglas was just some cherry. But even if you go back to that fight, and trust me, I've rewatched it a bunch of times. If you go back and you watch that fight, you could see that Buster Douglas was a very skilled fighter. Very good fighter. And he was good enough to accomplish more than what he did. The problem is that outside the ring, he wasn't disciplined. Buster Douglas, for most of his fights, especially towards the end of his career, he showed up way overweight, didn't train right, didn't take care of his body between fights, and that took a toll on him. This fight was the perfect firestorm, and I'm going to tell you what made it the perfect firestorm for Buster Douglas to win. Mike Tyson in his personal life was going like this. He was already heavy on drugs, heavy on partying, not training right. And he went into this fight, which by the way took place in Tokyo. He went into this fight kind of assuming that he was going to blow Buster Douglas out of the water. I'm going to just get rid of this guy. I'm going to get him out of there. And most people didn't really know Buster Douglas like that, hadn't been following him like that to really understand. Now, think about that aspect, right? Mike Tyson, Young Guns, salute family, bam. Think about that aspect. Mike Tyson in his personal life, he's going downhill. It's already been years since the old man died, and Mike Tyson is out of control in his personal life. In fact, the night before the fight, Mike Tyson was with women, partying, doing drugs the night before the fight. He actually spoke about the night before the fight, he was partying, and he was still a little bit messed up in the head the morning of. The morning where we fighting today, Mike was still a little bit out of it. Right? Now, let's think about Buster Douglas and what he had going on. Before this fight was announced, Buster Douglas' mother died. And he dedicated this fight to his mom. We actually saw the best version of Buster Douglas physically that he was ever in his whole life. This was the training camp that Buster Douglas took serious. That he really cut weight. That he really got in shape. And he showed up in the best shape of his life. So you have a Mike Tyson who was smashing hookers the day before and doing drugs, sniffing coke and everything the day before the fight, versus a Buster Douglas who showed up. Look at him right there. Buster Douglas ain't never looked like that. That version of Buster Douglas, we had not seen it before. And even after, for his following fight, when he lost the title versus Evander Holyfield, Buster Douglas showed up like 40 pounds heavier than this. big ass gut out of shape like crazy. But for that night, Buster Douglas showed up. The Hydro Grind, salute my brother. Buster Douglas showed up the best he's ever been, the best version of himself. Now the fight starts. And from the very beginning, you saw Buster Douglas outboxing Mike Tyson. Now some of it is because he was in the best shape of his life, but some of it is also because Mike Tyson wasn't the usual Mike. This was already the Mike Tyson that was messing up in his personal life. So it was the perfect firestorm for Buster Douglas to pull off the upset. If we would have known what was actually happening, because we found out that Mike Tyson was on drugs the night before the fight. We found that out years later. We didn't even know that. We were just like, what the fuck is happening to Mike? He's not the same. Well, yeah, he's not the same. Of course he wasn't the same. But Buster Douglas was highly, highly underrated. If you go watch him, watch his fights, the guy can fight. The guy could fight. In a way, you could compare what happened to Buster Douglas to what happened to Adrian Broner. We know how skilled AB was, and we know that he could have been a great fighter, but as soon as that money started coming in, AB started partying, AB started messing around. Look what Buster Douglas, what Mike Tyson was doing the night before he fought Buster Douglas, right? That's the same thing AB was doing the fight the night before he fought Paulie Malignaggi. Stole Malignaggi's girl, B. Smashing the day before the fight, doing drugs and everything. AB luckily walked out of there with the dub. But he was doing the same shit. So what really happened in Buster Douglas' career is that he beat Mike Tyson, made a lot of money, and went back to his old ways. He went back to, he had a nasty eating habit, out of control, addicted to eating. Then he also wasn't training like that. And for his very next fight versus Evander Holyfield, he showed up out of shape like crazy. You just won your first heavyweight title. Just won it. Very next fight, he got stopped by Evander Holyfield. And he was never the same. Always had a shot. At one point, he got to like 600 pounds, bro. Like 600 pounds. And slowly but surely, they started trying to get him back in shape, trying to get him back. But this version of Buster Douglas, my peoples, we never saw it after the Mike Tyson fight. The way he looked right there in that image, we never saw that. So people's image of Buster Douglas and the narrative is that he was a bum, that Mike Tyson got beat by a cherry pig, that Mike Tyson, nah, my peoples, Buster Douglas could fight. He was a real good fighter. And if he would have been disciplined, if he always stayed in shape like this guy would have been a 2 or even a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. He would have got wins over guys like Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe. Like, he would have got wins over the big guns. But he just couldn't stay disciplined. That's all there's to it. So don't let anybody tell you that Buster Douglas is a bum, or that he was a nobody, or that he couldn't really fight like that and he got lucky. No. If you watch the fight, there was no luck about that win. None whatsoever. That fight shows us from beginning until the stoppage how good and how technically savvy Buster Rhymes was. I want you to understand this. Buster Douglas was super sharp. The jab, nasty jab. The combination punching, disgusting. Super accurate. The overhand right hand, boom. Just brutal. Buster Douglas could have been one of the best heavyweights of his generation. But It's like I told you, his personal life, his eating habits, they all got in the way. They all got in the way of him reaching his full potential. He never reached it. On that one night, on that one fight, he was the best version of himself. We got to see it that one time. Not just the technically savvy skills that he had, but physically. Physically, you got to see what this guy was about, what he was able to accomplish on that night. If you see Buster Douglas versus Evander Holyfield, he looks nothing like that. I'm telling you. He showed up to the Evander Holyfield fight like 40, 50 pounds heavier than this. Out of shape. And he got stopped. And then we never saw this version of Buster Douglas again. So the only thing that comes to mind is that he just didn't have the discipline to stay in good shape. But when his mother died, something clicked. And he was like, I'm doing this for my mom, and I'm going to beat Mike Tyson. And he trained. He had an amazing training camp. And he beat Mike Tyson. Like he was, you know, like he said he would. Nobody, he was 40 to 1 underdog, 42 to 1 underdog. That's crazy. That just doesn't happen. You're not a 40-something to 1 underdog and walk out of there with the W. That just doesn't happen, my people. The Lunatic Librarian. How many fighters have won a belt and then lost it their very next fight? Many champs, not known. That's a fact. Many fighters have won a title and then lost it right afterward. Boom, very next fight. And then never won it again. But in the case of Buster Douglas, he could have been a 2, even a 3-time heavyweight champion. He could have defended a bunch of times, but he just couldn't stay in shape. He couldn't keep it together. Clifton Dennis. What about the circus around the ref? Slow count when Mike Tyson dropped him. You see, in reality, that's cap. That's people not wanting to accept that Mike Tyson got beat. You know why? Mike Tyson got the same count when he got dropped. In fact, Mike Tyson count was slower because the referee, he wanted to give Mike Tyson every opportunity to make it back. So in reality, that's cap because Mike Tyson got the same count. Mike Tyson over there trying to put if you put a clock on Mike Tyson count, it's like 15 seconds in when he trying to put the mouthpiece. That referee was scared to death of counting Mike Tyson out, and he didn't want to do it. But Mike Tyson couldn't even get up. He had to wave it. He had no choice. So if you tell me that he counted one way for Buster Douglas and one way for Mike Tyson, but no, he did. He counted the same way for both of them. And they just played out the way that it did. But let me just say this, Clifton Dennis. Watch this. The only thing that people cling on to is the count. But who was whooping whose ass during the entire fight? Buster Douglas was beating Mike Tyson up, bro. From round number 1. Outboxing him in every way, shape, or form. Doing whatever he wanted with Mike Tyson. So that's what people cling on to. Oh, no, it should have been, Mike Tyson win. Because Mike Tyson dropped him in the count. But you was getting your ass whooped the whole fight. Mike Tyson was being outboxed. Buster Douglas studied Mike Tyson tape and was doing everything to offset what Mike Tyson does. He used, and I'm going to put it to you like this. Buster Douglas put together the blueprint to beat Mike Tyson, and I'm going to tell you why. He used that height and reach advantage to the fullest. Mike Tyson could not close that gap without eating some nasty right hands to the mouthpiece, to the face piece, to the dome piece. Couldn't close the distance without eating nasty shots. Now watch this. Watch this. Buster Douglas beat him, right? Buster's like 6'6", 6'5", something like that. I know he's real tall. And then look at the way that Lennox Lewis beat Mike Tyson. And it's identical to what Buster Douglas did to him. Them overhand right hands from Lennox Lewis was beating the crap out of Mike Tyson. Not like Evander Holyfield, where they was going to war up until Evander Holyfield hurt him. But they was going to war. They was trading leather. Now with Buster Douglas, now with Evander Holyfield, they was using that reach to offset what Mike Tyson did and beat him in brutal fashion. So Buster Douglas wrote the blueprint to beat Mike Tyson that night in Tokyo. So I always say, man, salute to Buster Douglas for accomplishing, for becoming one of the biggest underdogs in sports history that night. Too bad that he couldn't stay in shape. He couldn't, be disciplined with his body. And he paid the price for it. The very next fight, he lost to Evander Holyfield, gained more weight, and he was never the same guy. He was, like I told you guys, we never saw this version of Buster Douglas after that fight. He only got in shape like that to fight Mike Tyson. And that was it. Wally Ama, what up, Jay Smith? I was away on business, but now I'm back in business. Salute, family. Appreciate you dropping in. Bam. Young Guns in the building. Young Guns, Holyfield stopped Buster in 3 rounds. That's right. And I was just talking about that. But look at this version of Buster Douglas. Look how he looks. The shape that he's in this fight. And then versus Evander Holyfield, he was like 40 pounds heavier. Big-ass gut. After the Evander Holyfield fight, he went up to like 500-600 pounds. So that's the thing. Buster Douglas is a guy who got in great shape for that Mike Tyson fight, and we got to see the best version of himself. The only problem is that he never got in. Come on, that's a good record. I mean, by today's standard, you got 3 losses, you were bumping a hype job. Social media didn't exist back then. So back then, 29-3 for a heavyweight, that's a good record. But we got to see it, man. We got to see the best version of Buster Douglas on that night. But also, to be fair, Mike Tyson wasn't. He wasn't. Well, yeah, Mike, Jay, how good do you think Buster would have been in the era if he stayed in shape? Listen, if Buster Douglas stayed in that shape, he could have been a 2- or 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. He could have got wins over Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis. He could have got wins over all of them. I'm not saying that he beats all of them, but he had the skills, the technical assets to have gotten win over all of them. He would have been he would have been one of the era's great heavyweights. Unfortunately, he just wasn't disciplined enough. And look, that's the difference between real good fighters and great fighters. The great fighters exhibit a different level of discipline, and that's how they're able to achieve greatness. And I'll give you the example. You guys know I said this before. You never seen a picture of a fat Floyd Mayweather. You never seen a picture of an out-of-shape Terrence Crawford. You never saw a picture or a video of a fat Oscar De La Hoya. The great ones, they stay in shape. They take care of their body to a different level. Just like Michael Jordan. You never in your life, even now with Michael Jordan being, in his 60s, you still, 60, 70, you still never seen an image of Michael Jordan, out of shape like that. Why? Because the great ones, they different. When it comes to taking care of their body, they different, my peoples. Brascarol, Shaggy, salute, family, bam. The letter M, what's the deal, my G? Adrian Broner, the letter M is somebody that I brought up earlier, and I said it. Broner could have been one of the best of his era too. But his personal lifestyle got in the way of that. And he didn't just go downhill after the Maidana fight. Professionally, he went downhill after the Maidana fight. But personally, he was already going downhill. You got to remember, this guy, the night before he was going to fight Paulie Malignaggi, he stole his girlfriend, was with his homies running the train on her and doing drugs the night before the fight. In his case, he had enough talent to walk out of there with the W. But I'm going to tell y'all something. A lot of people just remember that Broner beat Malignaggi. But go look at that fight. That was a tough fight. That was a close fight. There's some people that even said Malignaggi beat him. It was a good fight. So Broner, his personal life was already going downhill. He still had the talent and the youth to beat an aging Malignaggi on that night. But you imagine stealing your opponent's girl, spending the night smashing with her, getting high, zipping lean, and doing all this shit to go fight the next day? He pulled it off. Salute to Adrian Broner. Pulled off the double victory on Paulie. Took your girl and beat the shit out of you. But ultimately, Broner's life was going downhill. And it all came crashing down when he faced Marcos Maidana. Why? Not only did he take that L, but he never won a title after that. He never won a significant fight after that. Lost a couple of more fights and even been in a dog fight with a B-level fighter that we never heard of. And that's it. Look, then Blair Cobbs dropped him, beat the shit out of him. That's it. Adrian Broner's career was taken by his inability to stay disciplined, to stay focused. And we see Adrian Broner in his mid-30s already washed up. That's why age doesn't tell you when a fighter is washed up. There's fighters out there who 33, 34, they already washed. Washed. Why? For different reasons. Number one, you could be washed up because you already been in too many wars. You've been in too many slugfests. So even though if you won most of your fights, but you're taking a lot of punches to the head in all those slugfests that you've been involved in, you're already washed by the time you're 34, 35. And then you could also be washed up because you're on drugs, you're on alcohol, you ballooning weight between every single one of your fights. You do that, by the time you get to 30-something, your ass is cooked. And I'm going to tell you something. A 22-year-old fighter can get away with not running like he's supposed to during training camp. He can get away with gaining 40 pounds and then cutting it for the fight. You get away with that. But as the years pass, you get used to getting away with that. And then when you're 34, 35, you think you could do that. And you can't. Now when you're 34, 35, what happens if you don't run? Your ass is cooked by round number 7, round number 8. Cooked because your body no longer has that natural physical ability that you had when you was 22. Now, when you're trying to cut 40 pounds, guess what? Your body's cooked. You cut it, you make weight, but you show up to the fight weak as hell. You can't get away with that no more. That's why I told people Tyson Fury gonna start getting his ass whooped. Because he already got used to showing up to fights big and flabby. Because he got that physical, athletic ability. But at some point, that shit catches up to you. It catches up. Let me give you another example. Deontay Wilder. I remember I seen him in an interview. That was a long time ago. Wilder was like, he don't run. Nah, I don't run. I don't need to run. And what happens with Deontay Wilder when he gets to round number 7, round number 8, and be like, trying to catch his breath, waiting to get knocked out? You gotta run. You can only get away with not running like you're supposed to when you're young. You're 21, you're 22. You get away with that. But once you get to your 30s, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, if your body's not in shape like it's supposed to be, that shit will catch up. And when you fight somebody, and I've seen this a bunch of times in boxing, a guy whose skills is up here will get beat by a guy whose skills is down here. Why? Because you ain't trained right. You talented, but you ain't trained right. This guy's not as good as you, but he went hard in training camp. He took it serious. Beat the shit out of you. Beat the shit out of you. Marie, salute, bam. Like Chris Eubank in his last fight. I mean, he may have trained good. He may have had a good training camp, but cutting that weight wasn't easy. Wasn't easy, my peoples. Clifton Dennis, I don't remember seeing him tired. At least not that much. I've seen him a couple of times. Towards the end, be tired. Wally Ahmad. Yeah, I think Riddick Bowe was another one who, if he stayed in shape, he was a monster. Fast hands for a guy that big. Should be illegal. Riddick Bowe, but he was a monster. I think he could have accomplished more. But the first guy to beat Evander Holyfield. That night, I wanted to cry. Evander the real deal Holyfield was one of my favorite heavyweight fighters of all time. That only changed when it came out that he most likely was involved with steroids. Most likely. I don't know if you know the whole story behind it, but if you do a little research, he most likely was on steroids. And that changes my opinion about him. But throughout my time watching his career, Evander Holyfield was probably my favorite, outside of Mike Tyson, my favorite heavyweight to watch. Because how exciting he was, how technically savvy he was. And then he was a warrior, the type of warrior that he was. Damn, man, Evander Holyfield, I love watching him. Clifton Dennis, can I ask you a question? Shoot, my brother, of course. Wally Ahmad. Yeah, I think, Riddick Bowe was a special fighter, my G. Special. Clifton Dennis. That's why Shakur is the best. He trained the hardest and has the most skills, very disciplined. But Shakur follows that same line of a Floyd Mayweather, of a Terrence Crawford, of Sugar Ray Leonard. We never seen a picture, one single picture of an out-of-shape Shakur Stevenson. We never seen a picture of him ballooned up in weight and looking like crap. Never seen it. Why? Because Shakur stay in shape. This guy fights, takes a little bit of time to heal, enjoy with his family, and before you know it, he's back in the gym. There's fighters that you see that they don't have a fight lined up, and they always in the gym. But guess what? A lot of times, it's the fighters that's trying to make it that do that. The fighters who still trying to get an opportunity, who still haven't made a name for themselves, they stay in the gym. But when you look at superstar fighters, there's a lot of them that won't walk inside of a gym until they sign a contract. There's a lot of fighters. When you see fighters who balloon up in weight and be mad big, mad heavy, they don't be in the gym until they don't got a fight lined up. And you get away with that up until it catches up. Up until you ain't been in the gym, you got mad fat, you got in shape for the fight, and you facing this guy who's in the gym the whole year, who's in shape the whole year. Y'all not in the same type of shape. So your talent might get you past that fighter, but then you're going to run into one of them guys that's going to beat your ass like Maidana did to Adrian Broner. Marie, because Eubank is on that weight class since the beginning of his career, but now he can't make the weight. Like before, I just gave him an example. Weight cut on that age is not the same as in your 20s. And that's the reason why I told people that Tank Davis was going to have to move out of that 135 division. He went to 135 when he was 25 years old. At 30, if you look at your own body when you was 25 and when you was 30, your body grows, your body changes. So now your body's bigger, but you're still making the same weight. That's going to affect you. That's going to come back and bite you. Clifton Dennis, do you see Shakur? Do you see the MMA fighter talking crazy about Shakur and calling out Crawford? Yeah, but that's just internet talking clout, you know. You see, the thing is, boxers don't train kicking. Boxers don't train elbows, grappling, and none of that shit. So boxers understand that they can't do no MMA because they don't train in none of that shit. But MMA guys, since they punch in MMA, they think they could step in the ring and box with a boxer. And they don't stand a chance. See, that's the difference. Boxers know that they don't got a place in the octagon. MMA fighters don't understand that they don't got a place in the ring. And they keep challenging that, and they keep getting their ass whooped. The only way an MMA fighter wins in boxing, one, you're fighting a lower level opponent. Two, y'all both washed up. But you're never going to see an MMA fighter show up and forget about beating a champion. You'll never see him beat a highly ranked contender, ever. As a matter of fact, a blue chip amateur boxer beat the shit out of an MMA world champion in boxing. You take one of them Olympians and you put him against any world champion MMA fighter, beat the shit out of him. Beat the shit out of him. That's just the reality. So that's the problem. Fighters know they don't have a place in the octagon. MMA fighters keep thinking that they could box because they can strike in MMA. I've had people tell me, nah, if this guy goes to boxing, he beat boxers because he's a great striker. Punching with them little MMA gloves is not the same as stepping in the ring and going at it with the sweet science. You're never going to see an MMA fighter go to boxing and beat a world champion or even beat a highly ranked opponent. It just won't happen. Braskarog, Evander was brolic in his prime. Evander was shredded up. Shredded. Man, that motherfucker didn't have a six-pack. He had like a 20-pack. Abs, crazy. Back, shoulders. Evander Holyfield's shoulder was like up to the back of his ears and shit. Like up to here. Nasty. But then it came out that, you know, he was suspected of being on steroids, and what the situation, when I reviewed it, to me, it looked like he was. That's why he stopped being my favorite. You know, throughout my whole time growing up, because I got to see him when I was young, he was my favorite heavyweight fighter to watch outside of Mike Tyson. And then when I found that out, he had already retired. I was like, nah, man, I can't rock with Evander Holyfield like that. Wally Ahmad. Hey, Jay, did you see the fighter that passed out on the scale after cutting weight? He fell head first like Apollo Creed. And I've seen that before. I've seen that multiple times. Well, a fighter just pass out. That happens. Why? Because they starve themselves. They don't make weight the right way. There's two reasons that happen. Number one, you done gained 40 pounds and now you're trying to cut 40 pounds in a few weeks. That's number one. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. To cut 40 pounds in 6 weeks, that is super dangerous. 8 weeks, 40 pounds, that is dangerous. And then some fighters, they did it before, got away with it, so they think they could do it again. You're killing your body when you do that. That's number one. You cut way too much pounds in too short of a time. And number two, the fighters, like 3 days before fight night, ate 10 pounds over. And now you're going to cut 10 pounds in 2 days. Yeah, you could cut the 10 pounds. You could dehydrate yourself into cutting 10 pounds in 2 days. But that's what can happen. You either pass out after the win or before the win, or you get to the fight with nothing. Nothing. And that happens in boxing more than you think of. where fighters, you know, cut way too much weight during the last few days before the fight. They get beat up, knocked out. You're like, oh, this guy's a bum. You don't even realize that dude showed up to the fight a shell of himself because he tried to cut too much weight. The real King George. Basketball players, NBA players can't fight. NBA players be looking funny as hell, throwing wiggly ass punches. In most cases, they can't fight. But there's a reason for that, King George. And here's the reason. If you think about it, NBA players, the overwhelming majority of them, although they come from the hood, most of them played in high school basketball. Like if you made it to the NBA, you played in high school basketball and you was disciplined about it. Then you played in college basketball and you were super disciplined about it. And then you made it to the NBA. So a lot of these guys in the NBA, they play tough and everything and they get mad. But these guys never been in a real fight in their whole life. These guys, a lot of these guys, you know, in fact, a lot of these guys, the hood took care of them. I don't know how it is now because the hood code changed these days. That's it, man. You see these young kids beating up old man, beating up their neighbors. That shit was different. Back in the days, when people saw this kid got a future, he might make it to the league, they would protect him. They would have let him get into fights. They would have let him smoke if they was trying to smoke. They would have if somebody trying to mess with him, everybody jump in like, nah, you can't mess with him. Chill out. Don't play with him. So they grew up, even when they was in the hood, in a protected environment where everybody rallied around them because this the guy that can make it out of here. So most NBA players that you talking facts, man. Most of them can't fight. They ain't never been in a fight. Clifton Dennis, I thought he made an interesting comment. He said Shakur was scared to be great and give his best performance and go for the knockout. Like, I'm not sure who made that comment. Like, I don't know when did greatness become a knockout. When did greatness become a knockout? Honestly, I never heard that comment. I think you're the only one saying that comment. Like, look at all the people, Clifton Dennis. You got your little thing that you don't like Shakur, so you always kind of you like to throw little things about Shakur like that. Nobody, look at all the comments. Right now, there's already like over 100 comments on here. Nobody's saying that. You bring up Shakur Stevenson to say that, bro. What an MMA guy, think about it. You're repeating what an MMA guy said. A guy who could never go into boxing will get the shit beat out of him. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. You're repeating what MMA guys is saying. Now, notice, we're talking about Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson, and a whole other bunch of shit, and you're bringing up Shakur. You're like this other kid that always bringing up Shakur to say some negative shit that somebody else said. Nah, that's what you wanted to say because you're the one repeating it. Nobody else talking about that shit. The real King George. Only real fighters are NHL players. But you see, in NHL, they are allowed to fight. They're allowed to fight. So they throw in punches since. Bam, 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 bam. Clifton Dennis. No, look, it's viral, my G. But who's really repeating what the hell an MMA play, an MMA, like, think about this. How much weight do you put on what a MMA fighter is saying about a boxer? How much weight? Not only that, he's an MMA fighter who's butthurt because Shakur says something like, we better than MMA. But how much weight does it really got what an MMA fighter says about a boxer? I put zero weight on that, my G. I never take a microsecond to repeat his words about Shakur. But you're taking the time to point out, he said that Shakur's not great because of this. You're taking out the time out to bring that up for a reason, my G. We both know the reason why you're doing it. You're saying you're doing it because it's viral, but it's viral and nobody else is doing it. You doing it because you wanted to say, he didn't go for the knockout, so he not. You're repeating. Somebody said what you would like to say, so you get to repeat it. Nobody else give any weight to that, bro. Nobody give any weight. There's no need to say my bad. You know, if you don't like Shakur and you love to repeat negative things about him, that's just what you're gonna do, bro. That's ain't no, you know, there's nothing to say my bad about. That's how you feel about it. You don't like Shakur. The Assassin, Jay Smith, get him out of here. Jose Cole, Jay Smith, salute. Up and down weight for years is no good. And look, I'm gonna tell you something funny. You guys know that we don't talk about MMA over here. We mostly focus on boxing, right? But there was a back and forth between Shakur and MMA fighter saying stuff about him. So that's game. We was talking about the weight. And the weight, the ballooning up in weight and the going down in weight, that's going to affect you in any sport. Any sport, that's going to affect you. And I'm going to give you an example since we was talking about MMA. Y'all know that dude, Patty Pimblett? Patty the Batty? If you've seen him before, I've seen him before, and I've seen videos about him. This guy be gaining 40, 50 pounds between fights. You see him eating a full pizza by himself and multiple hot dogs and burgers and just eating crazy. And that's his pride to show the big-ass gut and say, yeah, you know, that's nothing to me because I cut the weight. And I remember telling someone, yo, this dude, he gonna end up getting his ass kicked because of that. He a talented fighter. He nice with it, but it's gonna catch up to him. What happened in his last fight? They beat the shit out of him. They beat the shit out of him. If you're not disciplined with your body, it catches up. And that's for any sport. That's why the great ones, when you think about Michael Jordan, when you think about Wayne Gretzky, when you think about Derek Jeter, when you think about the great ones in every sport, look at LeBron James, 40-something, still shredded. When you look at the great ones in every sport, they take care of their body differently. They spend mad money on their body. They spend mad money to always be in shape. And when it comes to game night, fight night, they perform. Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather was known to be the guy who was in crazy great shape. You never saw Floyd Mayweather run out of gas in a 12-rounder. You never saw Floyd Mayweather in a 12-rounder breathing heavy in the championship round like he tired. Ever. Why? Because Floyd Mayweather is someone who, in training camp, Zab Judah talked about, yo, this nigga called me at 3 in the morning talking about let's run. And I'm like, yo, it's 3 in the morning. Yeah, get up. We're going running. And we go running at 3 in the morning. And then he really called me. We come back, go to sleep. And then he calling me again at 8 in the morning. Yo, let's go train. Bro, we only slept a couple hours. Yeah, but we got to train. So Zab Judah learned about the things that Floyd did when he joined his training camp. That's when he realized, golly, this is something different right here. Floyd Mayweather was on a whole different level when it came to taking care of his body. And all this stuff that we talking about, weight, and ballooning up in weight, it comes back to Buster Douglas. Had the best performance of his career in the biggest fight of his career versus Mike Tyson. But that version of Buster Douglas, we never saw it again. For every fight after that, he showed up mad overweight with a big ass belly, flabby as hell. And that's why he was never able to accomplish as much as he could have. He became a heavyweight champion of the world and got stopped in his very next fight by Evander Holyfield and never captured the title again. Had he been disciplined, this guy would have been one of the best heavyweights of his era. Guarantee you that. All you got to do is look at his fight and look at the skills that he had. He just couldn't keep it together. So there you have it, my peoples. That's my throwback, my Thirsty Thursday fight that I wanted to talk about. Biggest upset in boxing history. But Buster Douglas is underestimated. He definitely was not a bum. He definitely was not, you know, an average guy, a cherry pick. This guy could fight his ass off. He simply didn't have the discipline. Didn't have the discipline. Clifton Dennis, you have to get up for a Mike Tyson. Marie, I watch boxing and UFC both, so I know the difference. But I laughed when Jay Smith mentioned Patty Pimblett, exactly the one the MMA community called him a fabricator from the UFC. Something like that. But let's talk. Marie, boxing. Yeah, boxing, man. Now, I mentioned him because of the way that he balloons up in weight. I believe that he was a skilled fighter, is a skilled fighter, and he'll become a champion. But if he don't learn from getting his ass whooped, he might be another Buster Douglas, another guy who really got talent but ain't going to accomplish like that. My peoples, let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next one. Bam! We spoke about this fight in the last episode of Boxing for Breakfast. It's cannons. Salute, family. Bam! This fight right here, I'm super excited about it, but I'm also kind of worried because it's clinging on Tszyu winning that tune-up. If Tszyu get beat, then the fight is not happening. The real King George, Lennox Lewis, Evander, Tyson, Foreman, top three I like. Man, those are great fighters, bro. All great fighters. Omega Bronze. Facts. On Douglas. He would have whooped a lot of today's heavyweights. And even back then, bro, if Buster Douglas stayed in shape and was disciplined, he would have whooped a lot of heavyweights back then and accomplished more. The Assassin, Tim should get the victory, or it's over for his career. But that's what I'm saying, that I'm a little bit worried because I'm excited about this fight. But I know that if Tszyu loses, we're not getting it. He has to win. He has to win this fight to get in the ring with Errol Spence. But, well, Daniel Negron, in his last fight, he looked good. In his very last fight, so obviously, you know, when you're losing, you're getting your ass kicked, you're not going to be looking good. But in his last fight, he did look good. He got the W. I think that maybe they're going to step him up a little bit more, a bit of stiffer competition before fighting Errol Spence, just to get him prepared for a fight of that magnitude. Obviously, this is going to be the most important fight for Tszyu's career. It's not for a title, but he's fighting a big name, and a win over Errol Spence will put him in title contention. And then Errol Spence, he got a chip on his shoulder. You see that in the comments when we spoke about it in the last episode of Boxing for Breakfast. People saying that he's washed up, that he's done, that he's cooked. So, come on now. Clifton Dennis, I thought Tim looked good in his last fight. It was just too much, and he got stopped. But he did some good things. Nah, bro, his last fight, he won it. His last fight wasn't the one... Oh, shit, wait a minute. Did he fight after Fundora? He hasn't fought after Fundora? Well, I think that was before Fundora. Hold on. He beat somebody. Was that? I'm lost, man, because I know he lost the rematch. Yeah, there we go. I know it. He fought Anthony Velasquez on December 25th, and he won that fight. So his very last fight, Tszyu did look good, but it was a lower level opponent. Even though it's a guy that's undefeated, but it's one of these guys who have, I don't want to say a manufactured record, because he beat some, he beat opponents, but not a guy who's been at the championship level. Ronaldo, good morning. Salute, family. Bam. The Hydro Grind. They will both be in top shape and ready for this fight. It all comes down to who handles the mental pressure better. Both will be under a lot of pressure. I mean, Errol Spence is definitely going to have a chip on his shoulder. You see how people are saying that he's washed, that he's done, that he's cooked. And I just want to say, if you think about Errol Spence, he got one loss to the best fighter of this generation. Everybody's not Terrence Crawford. Everybody's not just going to show up. We have to understand that. And I want to say this. The fact that he's been out of boxing for 2 years, that could be a positive. Because that gave him enough time to heal his body properly. To heal from that punishment that he took in that fight with Terrence Crawford. Because he took some nasty punishment. But it's been 2 years. So Errol Spence, for these last couple of years, he hasn't been taking damage. He hasn't been involved in wars. That's good physically for your body. And then if you see how he looked recently with images that have surfaced on social media, Errol Spence is in real good shape right now. Right now, he's already in good shape. So if he's going to fight, let's say in July, that's going to give him time not just to get shredded up, but to work on his craft. Because that's the one thing that people don't see. And I want you guys to take this into consideration. Imagine you're going to fight somebody. And you're 30 pounds overweight. You got 30 pounds that you got to cut. That fighter is 10 pounds overweight. You got 10 pounds that you got to cut. Guess what? His training camp, by default, is going to be better than yours. By default, my peoples. You know why? Because that fighter is going to be able to focus more on his craft than you. Just think about it. I want you to take this into consideration. If you're 40 pounds overweight and you're in training camp, you're going to have to spend way more time cutting weight. So while you getting in the sauna, jumping ropes, and doing all these things to cut weight, your opponent's working on the mechanics. Your opponent is working on that game plan. Your opponent is working on improving that jab, he's working on that footwork. He's working on them angles. He's actually working on the fight while you're still trying to cut weight. You over there jumping rope. That fighter only jump rope for 10, 15 minutes. You over there jumping rope for 45 minutes, killing your knees, killing your ankles. And that fighter's like this, working on them angles, working on that speed, working on that footwork, working on everything that he's going to do in that fight. So there's going to be a difference between the guy who's in training camp trying to cut 40 pounds and the guy that's in training camp only trying to cut 10. Only one of those two guys is going to spend that much time working on his craft inside the ring because you're busy cutting weight. It's going to make a difference. It's going to make a big difference. Ronaldo, he didn't look like himself. No excuses. But that's the big fish. We know. So I think he'll be good. So think about this. Think about Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur. He didn't look good. Think about Canelo Alvarez versus Dimitri Bivol. He didn't look good. What I'm trying to tell you, my brother, when you're used to seeing a guy always win and always doing good, and they get dominated, they never look good. And people always try to find the reason why they didn't look good. They got dominated. If you're getting dominated, you're never going to look good. Look how many people already looking for excuses for Teofimo because he didn't look good. He wasn't the same. Just something wasn't the same. So that's always going to be a persistent narrative. And there's two components to this. Number one, people just not understanding that you got dominated. And number two, your dislike for the opponent. People don't like Terrence Crawford, so he don't look good. He don't look good. Clifton Dennis, look, Clifton Dennis just gave me the perfect example. The car accident. Guess what? Clifton Dennis was just talking about Shakur not knocking the guy out because somebody else said it. Now he's bringing up the car accident. Why? Because he don't like Terrence Crawford and Shakur. So the Terrence Crawford and the Shakur haters, they always gonna bring up the car accident. But guess what? If I ask you, what from the car accident dragged into 3 years later, you can't really say anything. Because in that car accident, Errol Spence didn't break a single bone in his body. Not one bone broke. Errol Spence didn't suffer any long-lasting damage in that fight. Nothing. In fact, Errol Spence beat the crap out of Danny Garcia. Beat a world champion in Ugas. Grabbed another title. Now the accident came back for Terrence Crawford. Imagine that. The accident went away so he could win 2 fights, and then it came back for Terrence Crawford. You see? That's simply because people don't want to accept the greatness of Terrence Crawford. So rather than saying, yo, Terrence Crawford is great, wow, he beat the crap out of Spence, they prefer to say, nah, you know Errol Spence wasn't the same, and the car accident. But where was the car accident when he was beating a world champion in Ugas? Where was the world champion accident when he was beating a championship caliber in Danny Garcia? So it's like the accident went away, and then it came back for Terrence Crawford. But here's the more interesting part. Watch the fight with Terrence Crawford. Errol Spence had the same punch output that he normally has. He was there with the better fighter. The punch output was the same. His fighting style was the same. His aggression was the same. So everybody that says the accident, they can't even point out at anything. They can't say, oh, he had a limp in his right leg, so that's why. Or he had a bad arm. He couldn't throw the arm. Just the accident. That's all they can say. The accident. But wait a minute. What from that accident? What injury? Because it's no such thing as just the accident. I was involved in a car accident myself where the car was totaled and all I got was a broken ankle. A broken ankle didn't change anything for me after 3 months after that ankle healed. And it wasn't, no, let me rephrase that. A sprained ankle. Shit wasn't even broken. A sprained ankle. That didn't affect me years down the line. So Errol Spence was involved in an accident where the car was wrecked, flipped, he got ejected. But all you have to do is look at his injuries and tell me what injury do you think dragged for 3 years and he was able to beat world champions, but the injury came back for Terrence Crawford. There really isn't anything there. Nothing from that accident. No injury from that accident dragged years down the line and was there for the Terrence Crawford fight. But it's like I told you, the haters, the Terrence Crawford haters will always cling on to that accident. No, he wasn't the same. He wasn't the same. And all of those people thought that Errol was going to win the fight. I witnessed it. I covered that fight. And I specifically remember The same people that said Errol's gonna knock him out, Errol's too strong. Clifton Dennis was one of those. If Gamboa wobble Crawford, imagine what Errol's gonna do to him. And then what happened? Terrence Crawford beat the shit out of him. It was the accident. It was the accident. Because that's the only explanation that you got for being wrong. You couldn't accept that you was wrong, so people got the accident that they won't let go. But in reality, the accident, my people, is fake news made up by sore losers who just don't want to accept Terrence Crawford's greatness. Just like they don't want to accept Shakur Stevenson's greatness. That's just the reality. The real King George, taking 2 years off, it's a good thing mentally and physically. I agree with you 100%. 100% I agree with you. Because it also get those competitive juices flowing. After these 2 years, remember, when you lose the way that Errol Spence lost, and then fans turn on you, in a way that hunger to fight goes away. You start feeling disappointment, like, damn, man. Just last week, I was a big fish. And now all these people's talking about that I watched because I was in an accident. They didn't say nothing about the accident after I beat Danny Garcia. They didn't say nothing about the accident after I beat Ugas for a world title. Now I'm just a guy that's watched for the accident. Like Errol Spence fans, they did him dirty, my people. Most of them didn't rock with him. Most of them didn't rock with him. They made him watch. They went from buying the big fish shirts to saying that he washed and that he's not the same anymore. Look at the disrespect that he got from his own fans. So when you go through an L like that, you get disappointed. And that hunger fades away. But all you need is time for it to come back. With time, your body heals. You start feeling stronger. You start going to the gym. You start working out. And now the competitive juices start flowing. Now you watch these fights and you start saying to yourself, I could beat this guy. I could beat that guy. I could be world champion again. Damn, I want to do it again. I want to fight. And Errol Spence is in that space now. And he said it before, I'll come back when I'm ready. When I'm ready, I'll come back. Guess what? He's ready to come back. He's ready for the smoke. Wally, man, I think the mental healing was the most important for Errol. I hope he comes back strong. Maybe 2 years from now, we can see him and Boots. So I gotta say, I think it's a mixture of both. Mental and physical. You know why I say physical? Because he took the type of beating from Terrence Crawford that could change a fighter. And when I say change a fighter, I don't mean just mentally. I mean the type of beating that could have you stuttering, that could have you forgetting shit, that could have you not being the same person that you were before that ass whooping because of the damage that it caused up here, the physical damage to your brain and shit. And I was worried about Errol Spence because if you remember, Errol Spence was a guy, I used to follow him on IG. Errol Spence was a guy who was super active on social media. I remember before that fight, he had been already hanging out with Yellow Beezy a lot. And they was always posting together, you know, chilling, hanging out, partying. Errol Spence was active on social media. And after losing to Terrence Crawford, it's almost like he went into hiding. You didn't see no Errol Spence interviews. You didn't see videos. You will see pictures of him kind of like far away. So you can't really see him like that. You didn't hear him talking. So it made me wonder, damn, is his speech affected by that ass whooping? Is he messed up? Is he damaged? Because if he is, then he shouldn't fight again. But we never really saw Errol like that after the fight. So physically, he could have took some damage that had an impact. And it's a reason why they was like, okay, let's stay out of boxing long enough to make sure that we good. 2.5 years down the line, it looks like Errol Spence is good to go. I'm excited. I'm excited to see him get back in the ring. Noah Jimenez, salute, my brother. Danny on the ground. When Errol fought Danny Garcia, some people picked Danny because of Spence's accident and was humiliated by Spence. And if you watch that fight, there was never a moment when Danny Garcia looked like he was going to win. He landed a few good shots here and there. He's a championship caliber fighter. But there was never a moment in that fight where you say, oh shit, it looked like Danny's going to beat him. Errol dominated Danny Garcia. Made him look easy. And then look what he did to Ugas. He had he had a mental lapse in judgment. If you guys remember when he dropped the mouthpiece and Ugas caught him pop with some good shots. But then what happened after that? After that, he went on about his business and put a beating on Ugas. So again, where was the car accident when he fought Danny Garcia? Where was the car accident when he fought Ugas? A championship caliber fighter, a multi-division champion in Danny Garcia, and a reigning champion in Ugas. The accident went away, but it came back for Terence Crawford. I don't know how people make sense of that. Somehow they make sense of it. The assassin. Facts. We already seen that happen to Tszyu Kambosos. Embarrassed that boy. It happens. It happens in boxing. Call Rolly Romero versus Munguia. Romero versus Munguia. Take 24-hour break. Come back tomorrow. Two people that's not even close to the same weight classes. What are we doing over here? Come back tomorrow, study a little bit of boxing, and talk about stuff that makes sense. My boy said Rollies versus Munguia. What the fuck is going on out here? Mr. KO. So can we finally say that the car accident is an excuse for his loss to Buck Crawford? I mean, we don't have to finally say that's been said. That's been said, and that excuse been debunked. Only Terence Crawford haters still bringing up the accident. Ain't nobody else bringing up no accident. Everybody that knows that the better fighter won that night. Simple as that. You put Terence Crawford, Errol Spence at any point in time, and you're going to get that same result. That's what's going to happen. What happened in that fight is what was supposed to happen. Which, by the way, if you go back and check, I told people specifically Terence Crawford was going to knock Errol Spence out in the 8th or the 9th. A bunch of videos. If you go back to that year, 3 months, because they fought in September. If you go to that year and you go to, it was in 2024 or 2023. If you go to July, from July to September, you'll see that I posted, like 5, 6, 7 videos telling people, he's going to knock him out. It's going to be a knockout. I promise you. In some videos, I will say in the 8th round. In some video, I will say in the 9th. But I was confident about it. And there was people in the comments saying, you don't even believe that, Jay. You don't even believe what you're saying. Like I be capping like that. Nah, I don't be capping like that. If I tell you I'm expecting a knockout, that's exactly what I'm expecting. No getting around that. That's how I saw it playing out. Mr. KO. Oh no, Clifton Dennis. This guy's crazy. I don't know who we talking about, Clifton. The real King George. The better man wins as usual. Gotta work harder next time. Gotta man up to the laws. That's the thing, man. Social media allow people to not accept losses. These days, nobody accept a loss. When they rooting for this guy and their guy lose, it's almost like they already got the excuse in their back pocket. Ooh, but look, this is why my guy lost. God damn, you were saying your guy was going to win. Where the hell you pull that excuse out from? It's like they already got it stashed away just in case. Listen. There was this guy who used to hit me up on DM randomly all the time about how Crawford only took that fight so that he could get the bag. Because he knew he was going to get knocked out. And he was sure Crawford was going to get knocked out by Canelo. Bro, after the fight, I went to respond. Dude deleted all of the messages. And when I say all the messages, I'm talking about, yo, we had over 50 messages back and forth of him repeating the same thing over and over. Crawford knocked out Errol. Crawford beat the crap out of Canelo. My man's deleted all of the messages and even unfriended me and blocked me. He couldn't even handle the shit talking I was going to give him. He couldn't even handle it. He preferred to, yo, fuck it. Motherfucker probably created a whole new YouTube account just to subscribe, and I don't even know it's him. People don't know how to take a loss. People don't know how to accept that their guy lost. They prefer to come up with an excuse. And even when they don't have an excuse, look for Shakur. Well, he didn't knock him out, so he's not great. He didn't knock him out. That's just the way it is. Side, the accident will go away if he beats Tszyu. No, the accident won't go away. Then they'll just say that Tszyu is a nobody, Tszyu is a cherry pig, Tszyu is a bum. But the accident will still remain. Clifton Dennis, read my comment above. You say that this guy's crazy, Clifton. That's all I see. That's what I see, that this guy's crazy. Side, the psychological damage from Buck might still be there, though. Honestly, I think that 2 years down the line, that's something that he may have already overpassed. And not only that, it's like I said before, once a fighter has been out of boxing enough time and his body's healed, those competitive juices start flowing. And they want to fight again. They want to get in the ring again. So what I think is that we're going to see Errol Spence who show up being confident in himself, being confident in his abilities. But we're going to find out because, and I asked this question yesterday, are we going to get the same Errol Spence that we've seen before? Or is this going to be a version who's not letting his hands go? Who looks similar to Adrian Broner after losing to Maidana? Is that going to be the theme of this fight? Where Tim Tszyu's applying pressure and we're like, yo, Errol, let the hands go, man. Let the hands go. Is that going to happen? Honestly, I don't think so. I don't think so, but we have to see. Side, Inoue versus Usyk, they like, damn, somebody said Inoue versus Usyk. I hope y'all block whoever that was, man. I missed it. I hope you block whoever it was. Needed to be blocked ASAP. Who said that, man? Let me see if I find him. If I find him, I'm blocking him right now. Who said that? Who said Inoue versus Usyk? I missed that comment, man. Whoever was that would have got blocked right after I read that comment. Clifton Dennis. If you read my comment above, you will know why I said that. Had nothing to do with his boxing ability. You got it, Clifton. You would have been better off just repeating the comment. Somebody say Inoue versus Usyk. Man, that definitely needed to be a block. Clifton Dennis, what I say I worry about Spence because I already hear his speech deteriorating. I believe it's because the car accident. I said nothing about him. That's not because of the car accident. It's because you hate Terrence Crawford and you hate Shakur Stevenson. And you're always trying to find a way to diminish their opponents. The Assassin. Nobody beats Benavidez. Which, by the way, now that you say nobody beats Benavidez, now that you say that nobody beats Benavidez, we're going to talk about it. Benavidez versus Zurdo. We're going to get that fight. I'm going to tell you right now, my peoples. I have to tell you right now. I expect David Benavidez to beat the crap out of Zurdo, y'all. This is going to be interesting, but based on what I've seen from Zurdo in his last few fights, he looking slow. He looking real slow. Zurdo's out there like boom, 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 boom. You know, you hit hard, but you look slow as hell. And then you have a David Benavidez who's going to step in there. Hit you with 4 or 5 hit combinations like that. Nah, my peoples. Nah. Zurdo is world championship fighter. But David Benavidez, you guys know styles make fights. Styles make fights. And when you look at Benavidez' style and the way that he fights, come on. It's not going to be no surprise when Benavidez put... My expectations, I'm telling you right now, this is not my official prediction. My official prediction goes down on Box Center 2.0. But my expectations are that you're going to see Zurdo get pummeled. It's going to be down on the ground. Rough night for Zurdo. I agree with you. Rough night. Because there's too much of a difference in speed. Too much of a difference. And it's both championship caliber fighters, but styles make fights, man. And when you talk about David Benavidez' style versus a Zurdo who's super slow, who takes his time, I see Zurdo absolutely getting pummeled. Now, not to say that he's going to get washed from beginning to end. I expect him to have some good rounds, especially in the beginning. But you guys know Benavidez is a fast starter. He don't waste no time to get into it. He don't really waste no time to put hands on you. So we're going to see the fireworks early on in this one. Joshua Wilson, only person Mike can get beat, David, right now, is Tszyu Pataya. I think that Tszyu Pataya has a certain level of aggressiveness, that he can be disruptive. He got power too. But I still see Benavidez beating him because there's a big difference in experience. Big difference. They're about the same age, if I'm not mistaken. But only David Benavidez has faced better opponents, bigger names, been on the big stage. So I think because of that, we're going to see it. When and if it does happen, I got Benavidez winning that fight. Clifton Dennis, I thought we should worry about the fighter's health. I hear Spence's speech deteriorating the way Ali was in interviews later on. If Errol believed that he can come back, I respect it. I personally have said that I felt he should retire after taking that type of beating. But I'm going to support him if he decides to come back. John Parham, Jack can bang for sure. For sure. Look, Tszyu Pataya, since the first time I seen him fight, he was already one of my favorite fighters to watch. That you know, when he fights, you're going to enjoy the show. So I enjoy watching Tszyu Pataya. I don't think he beats David Benavidez. No, I'm saying I don't think because I'm not making a prediction. I got to see how they're both performing. And Benavidez is going to be moving up in weight, right? So there's a lot of factors that we have to consider before making a real prediction. But right now, I don't know. The Assassin, Benavidez has been my favorite fighter forever. He taking Canelo's spot. Took over Cinco de Mayo week. He's fighting on Cinco de Mayo week, and I think that's it. I think that's his weekend. That's it. I think he took over. My perception. Because he's already fighting on Cinco de Mayo and Canelo fighting in September. So that's it. And there's a reason why Canelo never fought David Benavidez. There's a reason why. He knows how that fight would have played out. And I said it before. If Canelo fights David Benavidez, he probably suffers his first knockout loss. He probably gets stopped for the first time. Because that's the thing. You know, we saw Dimitri Bivol beat the crap out of Canelo Alvarez. We saw Terence Crawford beat him up. We saw Floyd make him look easy. But we never seen somebody hurt him like bad and have him all over the floor and all of that. David Benavidez is the guy to do that. So there's a very good reason why he chose not to fight David Benavidez. Even after the Mexican Monster was his mandatory for how long? For how long was the Mexican Monster his mandatory? Over a year? And Canelo chose not to do it. Chose not to fight him. I think we understand why. Why he chose not to fight him. Shackle hands. It's still Canelo Day. He's just not ready to fight. Nah, I don't think it's going to be Canelo's day anymore, bro. Man, look, think about it. The Mexican Monster is fighting another Mexican fighter on Cinco de Mayo weekend. Next year, we're going to see the same thing. Next year, we're going to see the same thing. David Benavidez is going to fight on Cinco de Mayo weekend. The Assassin, Jay Smith. People will say that now Benavidez will kill Canelo, but before they hated the Monster and said Canelo would win. People so fake. I'm going to be honest. Me personally, I always have Benavidez whooping his ass. Always. Always have Benavidez beating him up badly. I even went as far as to say I give Canelo a pass for not fighting Benavidez. Because Benavidez is just so big compared to Canelo. Like, the size difference is a lot. That's why I felt like Canelo get pummeled in that fight. Look where he moved up to fight Dimitri Bivol. He got beat up and made to look average. Now imagine him fighting a guy that's much bigger, but also hits a lot harder. He gets knocked out. Like, that's how I always saw it. And that's why I gave Canelo a pass. Like, fuck it, man, you know. I give him a pass. Because, look, Benavidez, even at 168, he only stuck around that division to try to make that fight. That's why. But he struggled to make 168. Once he realized, yo, Canelo's not going to fight me, I'm out of here. I'm done with this shit. He moved to 175. But if David Benavidez would have got that title shot, I believe he would have knocked Canelo out. And look, Mauricio the goofball Sulaiman, Mauricio the dummy Sulaiman, why he didn't make Canelo fight him? Why he didn't say, Canelo, you got to fight Benavidez or we're going to strip you? Because Canelo's his guy. That's his Mexican champion that he wanted to keep with a WBC title forever and ever. But the right thing to do was to make that fight. He even gave Benavidez the bullshit-ass interim belt. And never forced the fight. But I think they all know what would have happened. And that's why they let Canelo bail out on that one. Over a year, Benavidez was his mandatory, bro. They never made it. They didn't want to make it. They know how that plays out. They protected their guy. Luis Pimentel, saludos, Jay. The Mexican Monster versus Bivol is my dream fight. Whoever wins is the man in my eyes. I'm gonna tell you something. If Dimitri Bivol would have chose to fight Benavidez, they could have made that fight. When he beat Arthur Beterbiev, Benavidez was a mandatory. But I thought Bivol was ducking him. Then I found out that he needed to get a surgery. I think it was an elbow surgery. And he was like, nah, you know, he's been having that nagging pain, decided to get the surgery. But I think at one point we may still get Bivol versus Benavidez, and it's going to be a great fight when it happens. Reef J3, David might knock Canelo square off if they fight at this point. David feel disrespected. And I'm going to tell you what, Reef, honestly, I felt like David Benavidez would have knocked Canelo out at any point. At any point. because he's just so much bigger than Canelo. And then he got that power behind it. We saw Dimitri Bivol manhandle him. Now you got somebody with devastating power, and you see how David Benavidez, 4, 5, 6, 7 punches, pam, 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 in the blink of an eye. Canelo wasn't going to be able to handle that. And one thing we already known about Canelo, he's not good fighting off his back foot. He's not good fighting backing away. Canelo don't have that footwork to try to box you and move around. He don't have that. He just doesn't have it. Benavidez was going to make him back down, was going to make him fight a defensive fight, and he was going to beat the shit out of him. Beat the shit out of him, bro. The Hydro Grind, Benavidez said he almost knocked Bivol out in sparring. He dropped him from a jab. From a jab, he dropped him. Bang! A hard, stiff jab, dropped him. So, if it happens, it's going to be interesting to see the way it plays out. Clifton Dennis, you believe in weight bully? I mean, I think sometimes it doesn't always apply, though. And I think there's a gray area there, because if you try to be a weight bully, you drop too much weight, you're also putting yourself in danger. You're also putting yourself in danger of showing up to the fight being weak. So I think, yes, somebody could be a weight bully up to an extent. Then there's a point where you're just putting yourself in danger, and it seems like you're a weight bully. You're going to get your ass whooped because you're going to show up to the fight and be weak as hell. So there's a gray area there, but yes, there's fighters that could be a weight bully, that could be way bigger than their opponents, especially if there's not a weight clause. Let me give you a good example of a weight bully. Let's say we don't have no rehydration clause, right? This is a weight bully. Arturo Gatti did some weight bully shit. I'm going to show you what is a good example of a weight bully. I walk around at 160. We're going to fight at 135, right? I walk around at 160. You walk around at 145. I'm already heavier than you in my walk around weight by a nice chunk. Now, when we fight, we both make weight. There's no rehydration clause. So now for fight night, you make 135, and for fight night, you weigh 142. For fight night, I'm weighing 155. Bro, I'm 2 divisions heavier than you for fight night. That's a weight bully. Of course that's a weight bully. Because come fight night, I'm 2 goddamn divisions heavier than you, bro. Weight bully 100%. But if for fight night, it doesn't matter my walk around weight. If for fight night, we're both weighing around 142, then I'm not a weight bully. Because we're about the same. But anytime you have a guy stepping in the ring, a whole division heavier than their opponent, that's weight bully shit. Reef, David will force Canelo to put oil on them old knees. Man, imagine Canelo trying to use footwork and trying to move around. That's not your fight. You're getting knocked out. You don't have to... Even Oscar De La Hoya said that. Canelo, when he's fighting, he's on quicksand. And he's always needed opponents to cooperate with him. And what I mean by that, he needs opponents to come forward and to stand in there with him. That's why he always struggled against the guys that got the footwork. The guys that move around. Everybody that beat him got great footwork. Floyd Mayweather, Dimitri Bivol, Terrence Crawford. They all got great footwork. Lara gave him hell. Great footwork. Even School gave him problems. Great footwork. Dance circles around him. Canelo couldn't cut the ring to save his life. But David Benavidez is different. He's going to make you use footwork. He ain't going to beat the shit out of you. The Assassin, he will never cement his legacy until he fight Benavidez. Now, I can't agree with you on that one, my brother. Canelo's legacy is cemented. Cemented, bro. Canelo is going down as the best Mexican fighter ever. And there's a long history of great Mexican fighters. But none of them beat as many champions as Canelo. None of them are as accomplished as Canelo. So his legacy is cemented, bro. The only thing is, his legacy is going to have that one stain. You dug Benavidez. You can never erase that. We all know, everybody from your era who watched boxing in your era is always going to know that you dug David Benavidez. So that's that little stain, you're not going to be able to remove it. But ultimately, his legacy cemented, bro. Look at the accomplishment. Remember, you don't cement your legacy with what you don't do. You cement your legacy with what you do. And Canelo Alvarez fought everybody except David Benavidez. That's going to be the one little stain. That's the only person in his career that we could say, you duck. Shaku hands, pause. Jay is in the house. David is a natural bigger guy than Canelo. Of course. He is a natural bigger guy. That's why I myself gave Canelo a pass. I gave him a pass. I actually, when everybody was raining down on Canelo Alvarez, I was like, bro, listen. I'm not even going to ask him to fight Benavidez because I know what happens in this fight. I know how this play out. It's like, just imagine if you, I'm going to give you a different scenario. But imagine if you're in front of your building and somebody's telling you, yo, what's up, let's fight. What's up, let's fight. But deep down inside, you know this guy's going to whoop your ass. You know this guy's going to beat the shit out of you. Are you going to fight him just because he's saying let's fight? It's something different. If they put hands on you, now we got to fight no matter what happened. But if they just talking out their mouth, what's up, let's fight. And you know you're going to get the shit beat out of you. If you still fight, you're a goofball. You just earned an ass whooping. You just got yourself sent to the hospital. You just got your eyes swelled up. Your mouth broken. Your nose broken. So why take a fight where you know you're going to get your ass whooped? That's the reason why Canelo didn't take it. He knew how that fight plays out. He knew what was going to happen. So it was a good call. Wes Dustin, salute family, bam. It was a good call not to take the fight. If I'm Canelo's team, if I'm the management, I tell him, yo, don't take this fight. Don't take this fight, bro. You're going to get done up. Wes Dustin, Benavidez is tall and heavy with heavy, fast hands. Canelo just was too small for him. But too, in my opinion, yo, Canelo was too small for Benavidez. That's real. That's real talk. And Benavidez only held on to that 168 division as long as he did because he was trying to get that fight. That's the only reason. But he should have been moved up to 175. He was trying to get that smoke with Canelo, and they didn't let it happen. Reef J, an eventual Jai versus David fight will be beautiful, violence, and motion. Oh, man, you couldn't say it any better, my G. You couldn't describe that fight any better. David Benavidez versus Jai Opetaia is one of those fights where from first round, you're going to see the heavy artillery. From the first round, two guys who don't want to back down, who don't want to be using no footwork to keep the distance, who both want to control every real estate inside the ring. You can only expect a slugfest, a nasty one. And I do believe David Benavidez wins this fight. Jai Opetaia, I love his style of boxing, his aggression, but skills and experience is in Benavidez's favor. But that fight, man, is going to be a real good, fun fight to watch. The Assassin, don't tell me you support ducking, Jay Smith. Come on, man. I don't support ducking, but it's like I told you. If a fighter know he's going to get his ass whooped, and he says, I'm not fighting this guy, I understand it, bro. I get it. I get it. But notice what I'm saying. When it comes to Canelo's legacy, That's going to be the only stain right there. You fought everybody. You did fight the Mexican monster. So I give him a pass for ducking. I'm not saying I support it because I wanted to see that fight just like you. I was calling for that fight just like you. I was calling Canelo out like, yo, fight this guy. But when it became evident that he wasn't going to, then I say, you know what? I understand it. If you know you're going to get knocked out, don't fight this guy. Fuck it. You already know how it plays out. Nobody want to get knocked out. Nobody want to get beat up brutally. So I understand it, bro. Chris Fonson, Jay, no cap. That was smart on Canelo because David would have did a number on him. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to... Look at it like this, the assassin. Think about this. Think about a family member. A cousin, a brother, even a best friend. If they're about to get in a fight with somebody in the street, they're about to get in a fight, and you know they're going to get their ass whooped. Don't you tell them, yo, chill, chill, dog, chill, chill. You stop because you want to save them. You want to save them. Now, if you don't like Canelo, you fight, because you want him to get his ass whooped. But if you like him, you're like, damn, I get you, big dog. Bam, I get it. You don't want what's going to happen to you. I get it. I understand it. If it's your brother, if it's your cousin, if it's your sister, and you know they're going to get their ass whooped, you're going to react the same way. You're going to be like, yo, chill, chill. Now, if you know that they could beat the shit out of that guy, you're going to be like, hey, yo, hey, y'all fight one-on-one. Do y'all thing. You're going to let it go because you know your man's going to get that W. But if you know they getting their shit rocked, you're going to be the first one to separate them. Like, yo, chill, chill. We don't need to be fighting. Leave this alone, man. Forget about this. You're better than this. Shackle hands. Yes, that's what Al told EJ to take that buff fight. I mean, I think that they worried about Terrence Crawford. And what shows, you know, that it's a good reason for me to see it that way. Look how long they took to fight him. They left Crawford like he was the last master in a video game. They only fought Crawford where there was no choice. There was no other choice. They had to fight him. That's it. Think about this. Errol Spence could have done two things. Number one, he could have vacated all them titles and moved to 154, and then we would have said he ducked Crawford. Or number two, he could have capped the titles, but fought other people instead of Crawford. And then we would have said he ducked Crawford because this whole time he's been telling us he want to be undisputed. So the only option for fans to accept that he's not ducking was for him to fight Crawford. He had to do it. And people don't understand the greatness of Terrence Crawford to get the Errol fight when they did not want to give it to him. He forced the action. You don't even realize how many fighters are trying to get this fight, and they make you wait until you lose, and then you don't get that fight. If Terrence Crawford would have lost to David Avanesian, he wouldn't have got that fight. If he would have lost to other opponents, he wouldn't have got the Errol fight. So they waited him out in hopes that he loses to somebody. He didn't lose. And ultimately, he forced the fight. The people that say that Errol Spence gave him an opportunity, was it really an opportunity? Or was it, I forced you into this? There's no opportunity. I'm in the way of you becoming undisputed. I'm the only way that you could become undisputed. So did you give me an opportunity, or was you trying to become undisputed? Let's frame it the way that it is. Errol Spence was trying to achieve greatness, just like Terrence Crawford. Look at Canelo Alvarez. Did he really give Terrence Crawford an opportunity? Is it an opportunity when you say, well, to fight him, I need 100 mils and 150 mils out there. And Turkey says, I got you 150 mils. Is it an opportunity? Or I'm just getting the bag to fight a smaller guy that I think I'm going to beat? To fight a smaller guy that people think I'm going to knock out. So Canelo didn't give Crawford no opportunity. That's not an opportunity. You made $150 million and you thought you was going to knock him out. Mauricio, the goofball Sulaiman, thought you was going to knock him out. And then you lost. But that's how they frame it. Like it was an opportunity. I don't want to hear about no bullshit-ass opportunity. Come on, man. Nobody want to hear that. My peoples, let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next one. Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios. Whoa. Whoa, my peoples. Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios is happening not this Saturday, the following Saturday. And this fight has a lot of implications. Why it has a lot of implications? Because if Ryan Garcia wins, number one, he gets to become a world champion for the first time. World champion. Reef. But the EJ like Hearns, did Martin, damn, you kind of lost me right there, bro. The assassin, Canelo got his karma for ducking, that's all. Wade, neighborhoods. I don't know what that means, Wade. The assassin, hopefully Barrio wins. I'm sick of Diva Garcia. Efrain Lopez. I got Ryan in this fight. Shackle hands. Oh, nah. 2.5. That's good number. Being gone too long. Reef. EJ's still my top 3 favorite of all time. Yo, Errol Spence is a special fighter. And you know what's so funny, Reef? You already see people disrespecting Errol all over social media. That he washed, that he done, that he's not that good. All of this other crazy stuff. Over one loss. But that's what social media does. Wes Dustin, damn it, Jay Smith. I want Barrios to win so bad. It's an emotional pick for me. But I'm picking him to win in 12. I'm going to tell you something, Wes Dustin. I haven't been able to make a prediction on this fight. I'm going to make it on Fight Week, on Box Center 2.0. But I still haven't been able to figure it out, man. This is a good fight. It's an interesting showdown. I'll be making a prediction next week. Shackle hands. He's saying Bud did EJ. Oh, like Tommy Hearns in Martin episode. Oh shit. Well, he did have Errol looking like Martin Lawrence. That's true. That is true. Tommy Hearns versus Martin on the Martin show. It's how Bud did EJ. It's true. He really did him like that. Danny on the ground. 2-year nap. Damn, Wes does it. John Parham. Wes, if it goes 12. The Hydrogrind. Benavidez said to this day he will fight Canelo for free. Look, Benavidez, I saw him in an interview where he said that they offer him, I think it was like $2 million flat and no pay-per-view. And he agreed. And then he never heard from them again. After that. That they were supposedly hit him up like, yo, $2 million or something like that. But no pay-per-view for you. He was like, yo, I'm ready. I'll take that. That's good. And then that's it. That was the last time he heard from Canelo's team. John Parham, 2.5 mils is disrespectful. I mean, look, it's hard for me to say, John, that is disrespectful because Errol been out of boxing for so long. But you know what? To fight Tszyu, and then you know, it's not a championship fight either. Tszyu stock has dropped ever since he lost, in the fashion that he lost. So I don't know. It's hard for me to. I don't want to put a worth on a fighter. Because Errol Spence has accomplished a lot. But if he accepted that offer, then I'm okay with it too. I think that Errol is also trying to build himself back up. Jump out Ryan under 10. Ooh, you got the stoppage for Ryan Garcia. Side, Mario taking the brown paper bag money. He accompanied, man, WBC, making sure Ryan get the belt. I mean, look, I have to keep it 100. You guys know that Mauricio, the goofball Sulaiman, is the type of guy who does whatever he wants. That's just the reality. Mauricio does whatever he wants. And Ryan Garcia is coming off of a loss. Like, you lost to Rollies and you get a championship, a title shot right after? That's crazy. That's crazy, my people. That's how you had a question. And if you know me, if you've been following me, you know Ryan Garcia is one of my favorite fighters. I enjoy watching him. I know he get a lot of hate, but I enjoy watching him. I enjoy him in the ring. Ryan Garcia fights are never boring. Ryan Garcia fights are always exciting. Win, lose, or draw, he's going to give us a fight. So, you know, even though he's one of my guys, I don't think he deserved a title shot coming off of a loss. But this is a big fight and an important fight. If he becomes a world champion for the first time, guess what? Devin Haney's going to be next. I promise you. Ryan Garcia wins this fight, on to Devin Haney and that very much anticipated rematch. West does it. Barrios will have to box Garcia and keep his feet moving. Bad idea to bang with Ryan. I agree with you. You don't want to eat that left hook at the wrong time. It could be over right then and there. The Assassin, I'm rooting for Mario this fight, and I never root for him because I need him to get the job done this time. Let's see how it plays out, man. It is going to be an interesting fight to watch. I'm pretty sure we're all going to be tuning in, obviously. Clifton Dennis, Ryan stops him, becomes champion, and can get a lot of big fights. I think the first big fight that he's going to get is Devin Haney. Conor Benn been wanting to fight Ryan Garcia. And this is the thing, Ryan Garcia is a big star. He's already put together big numbers. He's already been involved in big fights. So he has options. Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson said that he would be interested in that fight. I saw recently, he was in a podcast, I don't remember which one, and he said, I'd like to fight Ryan Garcia. Because Ryan says that he'll knock Shakur out. But Ryan he believes in his power like that. He believes he'd knock everybody out. Conor Benn, he says he'd knock him out too. I like his confidence. Clifton Dennis, Ryan stops him. John Parham, Clifton, exactly. The real King George. I love all fighters, but dislike stupidity they do. I mean, there's things I have to agree with you on that. Sometimes there's things that you see that's like, Like, look at Conor Benn. I got to tell you, Conor Benn is one of my favorite fighters to watch in action. And, I like everything about Conor Benn. No Diddy. The way that he's aggressive, the way that he applies pressure to his opponents, but even outside the ring, his shit talking. I'm with it. I'm with the shit talking. I'm with him putting his forehead to Rolly's forehead. I'm with him trying to rough fighters up in meetings and all that. I love it. But what I didn't like about Conor Benn, that to me he looked like a goofball, is when he said, Shakur Stevenson want a rehydration clause, give me $20 million. God damn, $20 million? Bro, you never made $20 million for a fight. How you guys getting $20 million for a rehydration clause? What are we talking about? You didn't pay $20 million to Chris Eubank Jr. when you made him go on a rehydration clause. So why you say Shakur got to pay you that money? You didn't have to pay it. So that was some goofy shit from Conor Benn. Reeve, Bud beat EJ into becoming a dreadhead. Damn, yo. That's what you call a bumper clap beating. Shackle hands. I'm tight back been on layoff and couldn't get the W because the refs cheated. Man, listen, Bakram Murtasaliev didn't just fight Josh Kelly. He was fighting the ref. He was fighting the judges. He was fighting the commentators and the crowd. He was fighting the whole goddamn UK. The whole England was fighting him. Chris Fonson, Mario Barrios by decision. Whoa, the hydro grind. I hope Mario gets the W. But I don't know. I feel sometimes he doesn't have that dog in him. Whoa. You see, we have people who got Barrios winning it. We have people who have Ryan winning it. But also you have to consider Ryan hasn't been consistent with his performances. Look versus Rollies. We all expected him to beat Rolly. And he got beat up. Efrain Lopez, I love Ryan Garcia. Very interesting. And he beats Devin again. You have to take something into consideration, Efrain. Ryan showed up to that fight 3 pounds overweight and tested positive for Austrian. And he himself said that Floyd told him to show up 3 pounds overweight because of the advantage that would give him come fight night. So if their rematch takes place at 147, they both make weight, they're both clean, we have to see how that plays out. We have to see it. John Parent, Ryan, one of my favorite fighters when he locked in. That's one thing, man. Ryan Garcia, he's performed, he's shown us that he could be a top-level guy, that he could be one of the best out there. Matter of fact, think about this. Look at his fight with Tank Davis before he got stopped. Look at the fight before the stoppage. If that fight goes 12 rounds, he got a chance to beat Tank Davis on the cards. He got a chance to outbox Tank Davis. There was times that he was outboxing him, but he got caught with that shot. What's Ryan Garcia's kink in the armor? God damn, yo, we not even at 40 like in over 2 hours. Damn, y'all doing me wrong with the ghost watching, y'all. What's Ryan Garcia's kink in the armor? The good old chin up here. Do your thing, bam, bam, bam. Ryan Garcia got the offensive firepower to match the best of them. But the chin up here, they don't help him. That's been his Achilles heel throughout his career. That in the ground, Ryan can't lose. He will lose his crazy mind. I mean, let's see how it plays out, because obviously a win for him makes him a world champion for the first time in his career. The real King George. Ryan will be one target, but leadership in locker room. Wally Ahmad, to me, this is a must-win for Ryan. Not going to say that he's washed if he loses, but the question is, how good are you without the PEDs? See, that's something that's going to come up, because he had that performance against Devin Haney, and people thought, okay, what are you going to do next? You test positive, and look, Rolly's beat you in a fight where he won convincingly. So there's going to be that pressure to see how you're going to perform. Can you win this fight? That's something that will be part of the conversation. The hydro grind. I can't stand Ryan. Get in line. A lot of people can't stand him. Chris Fonson. I don't like Ryan. John Parham. He has to catch Shakur, and I don't see it. Shakur wants that fight. Shakur want to get in the ring with Ryan Garcia. The letter M, Conor Benn will get his ass whooped by elite fighters. Tank, Shakur, Haney. So I don't see Tank fighting Conor Benn just because I don't see him going to the welterweight division. But Shakur and Haney, Conor Benn is food for them. Food. Tasty. Tasty, tasty. Reef, when has Ryan never been locked in? Is the question. He was locked in versus Devin Haney. He was locked in. Whether he cheated or not, that's a different story. But he was locked in on that fight. And we thought he was going to get beat up badly because he was going through his mental health stuff. But shit, bro, he beat the shit out of Devin Haney. Cheated. We know he cheated. But he gave Devin the beating of a lifetime, bro. 5-line whoop. Ryan is corny. The real King George. I don't think anyone got punched by a professional boxer before, only by wives in this room. Reef, Ryan Nasty Philly show pissed me off. Then he cheated. Damn, man. That Philly show had us all pissed off, bro. What the hell was he doing, bro? That was crazy. That was crazy. 5-line whoop. Remember he faked like he snuck into the Bohemian Grove and he saw some crazy shit? I've seen him as a clown ever since then. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about that, bro. When Ryan Garcia had that episode before fighting Devin Haney, he said a lot of shit that turned out to be true. Remember he was talking about little kids being sacrificed? Little kids getting their blood drained and all of that shit? Well, came out. A lot of that shit he was saying about kids getting kidnapped and all of that shit, it turned out to be true, bro. So that's the one thing. When people get to the highest level and they get access to things that we don't have access to, things that we don't see, and they having mental health issues, they say a lot of shit that be true, and people discredit them. Like, he talking shit. He don't know what he talking about. He going crazy. He faking crazy. All of this stuff. He said a lot of shit, bro, that turned out to be true. Side, the Victor Bill show. Yeah, that wasn't even no Philly show. We can't disrespect the Philly show like that. That was a whole different type of show that we ain't never seen before. 5-line whoop. Yeah, but we heard those stories years and years ago. Side, some Epstein-ish. John Pound. Ryan not slow at all. He not slow. Because that's the thing. Look, having mental health issues doesn't mean that somebody's slow. And it doesn't mean that just because you got mental health issues, you can't perform, you can't do your job. People have this notion that if you have mental health issues, you're just sitting in a corner crying and you can't train and you can't fight. No. Yo, sometimes, look, I'm going to put it to you like this. Every single one of you know somebody right now dealing with mental health issues. Every single one of you. That shit is more common than what we believe. The problem is that somebody have mental health issues, and unless they have a mental breakdown, you don't know it. You don't know it. Usually people who struggling with mental health issues, they be the life of the party. They be the one making everybody laugh. They be the ones joking around that everybody think is all good. And then when they by themselves, they struggling badly. So a lot of people didn't believe that Ryan Garcia was dealing with mental health issues. They always have thought that's fake. No, I know for a fact this dude deals with mental health issues. I know that for a fact. But that doesn't stop him from doing his job, from performing. People deal with mental health issues every day, my peoples. You guys, a lot of you guys have dealt with mental health issues. I've dealt with mental health issues. I just never snapped. Actually, maybe I have. Maybe I have. Not acting crazy, but maybe somebody got punched in the face and they didn't need to get punched in the face. There's all type of different ways that people snap when they dealing with mental pressure. Clifton Dennis. Some reason Tszyu racism felt worse. Man, listen. I know that there's people that, even within boxing, who say Tszyu not a racist because he does shit like that to self-fight, but we know him on a personal level, and he's not that. But if he was a racist, Shakur beat the racist out of him. This nigga was out there talking about, I'm sorry for everything, and I'm sorry for slavery. Even put the black fist up. Like Teofimo he a clown. That's what he really is. He a clown. Nature Boy, I still believe Ryan exposed the left hook on Devin Haney's face. Man, listen. And what was crazy about this is that Devin Haney spent the whole training camp telling us, yo, guess what? The whole week, all he got is a left hook. All he got is a left hook. All he got is a left hook. That left hook beat the shit out of him. Reef, I almost tweaked earlier this week. It happens, bro. And let me tell you something, Reef J, so you can see how real shit is. Bro, we done grew up in the hood. This nigga apologized for slavery, bro. But think about it. Not everybody in the comments, I'm sure it's not everybody, but there's a lot of us. Bro, we done grew up in the hood watching people get shot. Some of our friends been killed. Some of our friends doing 20 in prison. You think motherfuckers don't be shell-shocked with the shit that we done witnessed? You think that don't affect us? Like, I'm gonna put it to you like this. And it's sad to say this, but this is real shit. If you 30 years old and you're Caucasian, you're white, and you say you got mental health issues, yeah, he got mental health issues. But if you're 30 years old and you black, you can't have mental health issues. You lying, you bugging out, man, fuck out of here. But wait a minute. So this dude who grew up in the suburbs, who went to nice private schools, who mommy and daddy bought him a car when he was 18 years old, he can have mental health issues. But me, who I watched, the first time I watched somebody get killed, I was 10 years old, bro. I was in front of the building, and somebody who I used to see every day got killed. Somebody showed up to the block in a car, got out, bam, shot him. I still remember when my uncle grabbed me and my brother, they carried us, we ran inside the building, then they kept shooting at each other, we in the bedroom, in the floor. Watch people get killed when you're 10 years old. Then you watch police officers beat people off left and right. Then police officers pulling you out your car because you driving while black. You don't think that's going to affect you somehow, some way? We can't have mental health issues after the shit that we go through in the hood? Come on now. So that's the thing about mental health, that people accept it from some and don't accept it from others. But mental health is real. And most of us, if you grew up in the hood, at some point in time, you dealt with mental health issues. But you know what happens? Because nobody's going to accept it. Nobody's going to believe it. So we just have to keep it quiet. If I'm struggling mentally, I just got to shut up and keep it in here. Until eventually shit keep happening, and then somebody look at me funny in the street and I might snap. Now I'm the bad guy. Because that's another thing. We're not allowed to go to therapy. If I go to therapy, I'm weak, I'm bugging out, what are you doing? Goofball shit. We can't go to therapy. We just got to shut up and suck it in. That's crazy, but that's just the reality. That's how shit be. Clifton Dennis, Jay, you grew up in USA or DR? I moved both. I moved to the US when I was 8 years old. At 8 years old, I moved to the US. And I lived there until I was 26. So there you have it right there. From 8 to 26. That means when I moved to the US, what do you know of when you're 8 years old? What have you, in the US, I went to elementary school. I went to junior high school. I went to high school. I got my first girlfriend. I started in my second and third, and my wifey. I got my daughter. I started smoking weed. So all of my first life experiences were in New York. And I got to witness a lot of shit before I got involved in a lot of shit. But if something happened and it makes me struggle mentally because of whatever may be happening, I'd have to suck it in because, well, number one, I'm a man, and number two, I'm black. We're not allowed to have mental health issues. That's not for us. The hydrogrind therapy is for crazy people. That's a huge mistake, and it hurts our communities. That's a fact. That is a fact. Therapy is not for crazy people. Therapy is for everybody who's struggling mentally. But that's just what society have taught us. John Parham, Clifton in New York, the letter M. I got body slammed by police during the stop and frisk era. Come on. Listen, if you was in New York City during the Pataki era, you was cooked. Oh shit, you was cooked. If you was in New York City driving while black, oh, you was cooked. You was cooked. There's no way that you was gonna drive by police officers peacefully. There's just no way. And that shit has an effect on you. When you're constantly being harassed by police officers, it has an effect on you. That's why some people, they see the police, they cool. I used to see the police and be scared. Instead of feeling safe, I used to feel scared when I see the police. And I ain't even doing nothing wrong. The effect that all these interactions with police had on me, that I would see the police, I see a police car, and I'm scared. Instead of me feeling safe, like, oh yeah, the police is right there, I'm safe, I'm scared. I don't know if they're going to pull me over, they're going to harass me, I might even get arrested. Shit be crazy. Wes Dustin, therapy is for people with good insurance. Poor people don't get access. You see? You see? That's the thing. There's only certain things that you can do when you're dealing with mental health issues. One of them is just shut up and suck it up. That's what you get. Shackle hands, yes, the cop stupid people got a knee in my back too. Chris, you was super fried. The real King George, I keep it 1,000. Mental health is real. It is. It's real. Reef, I had a white cop pull out a military-grade gun on me when I was in college leaving the club with my friends, all because I was trying to leave during a shootout. I'm going to put it to you like this, Reef. Everybody that I know from my block, everybody that I know can tell you that they had a gun pointed at them when they wasn't even doing nothing wrong. Me included. But that's what we have to deal with. They like we're in the hood and it's like a war zone. How I got a war zone in my hood where I'm from? I can't even tell you how many times I had a gun in my face. Freeze! Don't move! Don't move! Stay calm! Like, how you supposed to stay calm and relax with a goddamn gun in your face? How you supposed to stay calm and relax? So they break you down mentally, but tell you to stay calm at the same time. I got this gun that can kill you right now, but stay calm and relax. That's what you have to deal with. So, of course, most of us, at some point or another, we're going to struggle with mental health shit because of the type of things that we had to witness and endure. John Parham, growing up, I've always heard cops telling me to stop hanging out with black kids because I won't mount to shh. So I started keeping a pic of Pops in my wallet. Chris Fontaine, Jay, the thing is, it's a few people that don't really know what New York is really like. Shit not sweet at all. I'm telling you, bro, I'm an 80s baby. I was born in 78, but I said 80s baby because obviously in the 80s, that's when I was growing up, right? And I got to New York in 87 or 86 during the Pataki era. Shit was different over there. And even the early 90s, shit was different over there, my peoples. But, here's what I need to get into. Let's not skip this, my peoples. Bam! Tyson Fury's coming back. Whoa. Tyson Fury is coming back, my peoples. I thought he was retired. He said he was retired. And I will tell you, Fury's a guy who has a shitload of money. A shitload of money. The 100 grand, damn, bro, you 48, looking like 40. I'm going to be 48 this year. I'm going to be 48 in June 21st. 48 years old. But I try to take care of myself, try to eat healthy, try to do exercise, run, stuff like that. Reef, Fury had enough time to cycle off. Look, Tyson Fury is going to face an opponent that I will go ahead and label a cherry pick. In my opinion, this is a cherry pick right here. Why? Because this is a guy who's never won a title, a guy who's never really accomplished, and it should be an easy win. Reef J, June 21st, we birthday twins. Oh, shit. We Geminis, the last day of Gemini. But I don't know if you know this, Reef. We was born in the last day of Gemini, but every like 5 years is the first day of Cancer. So we mostly a Gemini with a little bit of Cancer. John Parham, Hydra, a little die. He's passing for 38. Now, but you see, that's the one thing you guys are going to notice about me. Maybe when I get to, when I get to DeZurn or ESPN or whoever's going to give me a call, Zuffa, maybe they're going to force me into, because I know they do that for the cameras and the lights. They force you into putting a little makeup and shit like that. But I'm always going to push back against that. I want to be myself. I want to look the way I look. You guys will see, if you start looking at the videos that I post, you don't see me using filters to try to look younger. You don't see me, I never color my beard or I have a few, I don't have that many, but I have a couple of gray hairs in my hair. I don't color none of it. I want to look like me. Always. And I'm going to tell you guys something interesting that I want you to consider. You see all these filters that are available on TikTok, Snapchat, and all of these other filters that you could download into your phone. And women always, you see they filter. You see this shorty, she look fine as hell on social media. Then you see her in the street looking like Freddie Jackson out there. Like, the fuck? Damn, girl. You was fly as hell on social media. How you out here looking like Debo? Because all they use is filters. So there's people out there, they use so much filters on social media that if they see you in the street in real life, they be like this. They don't even want you to see them. Because they cooked in the face. So I don't want you guys to see me, with a black beard, with a fucking toupee that goes all the way over here. Then I get my wig pushed back like Big Baby. Y'all be laughing at me and shit. Nah. I embrace myself how I look. Because people don't realize, you know what those filters are designed to do? They're designed to tell you that you don't look good enough. They designed to tell you that you don't look good, that you need to look better. So in reality, when people always using them filters, they're breaking down their own confidence in themselves. They breaking down their own self-esteem because they get used to wanting to look younger. And then they real self, they ashamed about it. So you're never going to see me using filters. You're never going to see me trying to alter my look. I want to be as authentic as possible. That's what I'm about, authenticity. What you see is what you get. Big Baby special. Yo, listen, man. I want to give a shout out to Big Baby. Hollywood's J. Smith. Big Baby wig is coming soon. You ain't gonna see me with no wig, bro. You ain't gonna see me with no toupee. You're gonna see me rocking the baldy, maybe. Cause I can't see myself like I got a little bit of a fro, right? But y'all never gonna see me becoming the bald head dread. You ain't gonna see that. You know when they got the dreads and then they got the baldy up here, so the dreads is only back here. I can't fuck with that, bro. I'm not gonna be the bald head dread. That's not for me. Reef, my head lopsided tells you which way the wind blowing. Ooh, you see? And aerodynamics. You got the aerodynamics going on. You could tell people, yeah, the wind coming from over there. The letter M. Bomba beating. Look. I want to give a shout out, my peoples, to Big Baby. And I want to tell y'all why I want to give a shout out to Big Baby. Number one, I said it before, man. Jarrell Miller, the way that he handled it when his wig piece got pushed. I love the way he handled it. He was able to laugh at himself. You know, he had a good time with other people that was laughing at him. He had a good time with it. You see him going to all these podcasts, taking off the hat, showing the dome piece. Like, he really handled it. Not only that, because of his positivity about it, he's getting endorsement offers. You're going to see him get endorsement deals for toupees and wigs and glue and all of this other shit. So Big Baby is actually going to capitalize off of it. No. He is capitalizing off of it. He's already making money. He's already selling shirts about that. So I posted a video about it, and Big Baby seen the video. Check this out. Not only he saw the video, yesterday I posted a video saying thank you to all the fighters who've been showing me love, who've been checking out my content. And I want to show you guys something. Watch this. I'm going to show you the video, and then I'm going to show you something else. Check this out, my peoples. Watch this. I want to show you guys this video right quick. Check out this video, y'all. Big Baby, Jamal Charlo, Shakur Stevenson, Frank Martin, Carmel Moulton, Bill Haney, David Morrell, and the GOAT himself, Terrence Crawford, man. I just want to say thank y'all for checking out some of my videos. Y'all don't even realize how much y'all motivate me. You know, I see this and I be like, God damn, I got to make sure I'm on point. I got to level up. I can't have these motherfuckers thinking I'm just some goofball just saying anything on social media. I'm really about this boxing life. Boxing is everything to me. So when you guys check out some of what I'm doing, I really appreciate that, man. And y'all really, really motivate me to just keep going harder to master my craft. So salute to every single one of y'all, man. Bam! Now, guess what? You know, I wanted to say thank you to those fighters because, real talk, you know, I get motivated by that shit. Like, I can't be just out here just saying anything when these are some of the fighters and some of the coaches and trainers watching me, right? If you go to Jarrell Miller's IG right now, yo, he reposted that shit. Y'all know he's on fire right now. He's viral like crazy. 30,000 followers now. Is it 30,000 or 300,000, I think? Yeah, 300,000 followers on IG. Go to Big Baby's IG right now and look at his stories, and you're going to see that story. And he didn't post a little piece of it. Sometimes people do that. You know, they'll post like a 5-second clip of your story. Nah, he posted the whole story. Posted the whole shit. So it's like, damn, man, that's mad humbling to me to have somebody like that who's on fire right now reposting my shit. Like, damn, Big Baby, a real one. Reef, real ones respect real ones. Salute, my brother. I appreciate it. And you know, some fighters who hit me up privately and people who hit me up privately say, yo, Jay, you're doing your thing, man. Keep grinding. Your shot is going to come. Just keep doing you. I'm just being patient. I'm just being patient, waiting for my opportunity to show up. When that door opens for me, my peoples, I'm telling you, I'm going to go berserk. Taking over shit on some nasty, nasty, nasty work. When they open that door, let that foot in and let Jay Smith in, whether it's Zuffa or DeZurn or whoever let me put that foot in there, it's going to be crazy, my peoples. I promise you, taking over shit in a way that ain't nobody ever took over shit. If they let me do the commentary, I'm taking over shit. Everybody gonna be like, oh shit, that's the commentary. That's the guy right there. Wherever I land, my peoples, I'm taking over shit. I promise you this. But let's get back to this. Tyson Fury versus Buddy he's fighting. Check it. That's the record of Arslanbek Makhmudov. Franchise, salute family. Bam. Shaku Hands, big baby from Brooklyn. A Brooklyn dude, yo. Ronaldo, you got the best boxing show, no cap. I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you. When fans of boxing say this to me, it really hit home because I know you guys have a lot of options. I know that there's a lot of YouTube channels out there. There's a lot of YouTube channels with some fire content too. I'm not the only one. So when you give me those flowers, I appreciate it, bro. The letter M. You Sugar J. Ooh. You going to Saudi Arabia? And are you going to use the Arab turban? I mean, if I go to Saudi Arabia, I'm gonna rock with their culture. Wherever I go, I'm gonna rock with their culture. So you're gonna, if His Excellency Turkey allow me to go down there, you're gonna see me full blown jump off. Of course. John Parham, big baby toupee going to be selling in a lot of bodegas in Brooklyn. Yo, you're gonna see the big baby toupee coming up. So check this out, my peoples. Fury's next opponent, he got 21 wins, 19 knockouts. That says he got power. Now he got 2 losses, both by knockout. If you look at his resume, one of his losses was to Caballero. So that's a loss where you fought a top level, elite level fighter. But his second loss was against Guido Villanello. And Guido had a record of 12-2 and 1 draw. So a guy with not that many fights put the beats on him. So my personal prediction on this fight is that Tyson Fury is going to knock Arslanbek Makhmudov out. Tyson Fury is going to beat him up. This is kind of like a tune-up fight where Fury's going to look good and it's going to set him up for bigger fights. Because, look, there's fights that needed to happen that never did. We wanted to see AJ and Deontay Wilder. We didn't get that. But we also wanted to see Fury and AJ. We didn't get that. We want those fights. The letter M. Fury should win. But if he comes out of shape, then you never know. See? Whoa, franchise with the super chat vibes. Family, I appreciate you, brother. You guys know what it is. We do this for the love of the sweet science. Never been about the money. I'm going to be taking the Zone money or Zuffa money or one of their money. I'm definitely going to be taking their shit. But with you guys, it's about the love of the sweet science, man. So when you hit that super chat, I really appreciate it because what you're saying is, yo, man, I appreciate what you doing, Jay Smith, enough to say, boom, here, hold that. It don't matter if it's 50 cents. It don't matter if it's $500. It's all the same to me because you're just showing me love. So I appreciate you, franchise. Fury has a granite chin. Yo, we've seen Fury get hit with some monster shots. Devastating blows. That would have sent somebody to Valhalla. Straight to sleep. And Fury eat those. Eat those. John Parham, Reef, they definitely one of them. Franchise, to the top family. I will always support you. Salute, my brother. Listen, my peoples. For this fight, I expect Tyson Fury to win by devastating knockout. What do you guys think about Claressa Shields? She's going to be fighting. Claressa Shields is going to be fighting DeZurn. I don't know if you guys saw the first fight between the ladies, but the first fight was competitive. The first time they fought each other, you know, they traded some nasty leather, and it was a competitive fight. How does this fight play out? Because I'm going to tell you, Cruz DeZurn, she's feeling real disrespected. And she wants to show that, you know, she's a world champion. World championship caliber fighter. How does this fight play out? Franchise, I wish Clarissa and Ali had got it on. Damn, man, why you want to see Clarissa take that type of punishment, bro? Oh, you mean Layla Ali? Nah, look, man. Layla Ali was capped. She has a lot of fans and a lot of people that's supporting her. But I'm going to keep it real. Layla Ali straight cap. She got caught capping. And I'm going to explain to you why. Reef J, shout out to Clarissa for keeping big fights here in Michigan. Forever my GOAT. Bro, Clarissa Shields is somebody that you got to respect. Not just because she came from the bottom, but she always tries to bring that paper to Michigan. She always showed love to her place, to her home. She always made sure to represent. She always say, yeah, Michigan, Detroit, you know, you always hear her saying it. And this is going to be a good fight. It's going to be an interesting fight. I don't see nobody beating Clarissa Shields. That's just the reality. Canelo crush. Bam, salute, family. I don't see nobody beating Clarissa Shields, yo. There's a lot of people who don't like her because she's cocky, because she talks. She back up whatever she say. Whatever she says so far, she's done it. Done it. And then, you know, once that money started rolling in, she started getting more haters. Once her fame started going up, she started getting more famous. And I spoke to Clarissa Shields privately a few times. Privately. So I'm not going to talk to you guys and tell you about, what those conversations are about. But Clarissa Shields is a GOAT, man. She got a different mindset. She just got a whole different mindset. She a different animal. She cut from that cloth where the great ones come from. Reef J, and she from Flint. Oh yeah, Flint, Michigan. Which is about an hour from where I'm at. Oh damn, Reef. I hope you seen her fights. At least you seen a couple of her fights personally. You right there. John Parham, James Toney, always around too. Canelo Crush. John Parham, what up? The letter M. I want to see Shields versus